Good night, little ones. Are you all tucked in your bed?
Yes.
Okay, tonight's story is entitled Ellen and the Little Orange Kitten. It was a rainy night, and 7-year-old Ellen sat cross-legged on her bed. She was flipping through her favorite book. She sighed loudly and looked out the window at the gray, drizzly sky. Rainy days are so boring, she muttered. Downstairs, Ellen's mom was sitting and drinking tea and humming a hymn. Ellen, her mom called, why don't you join me? We could bake cookies together. Maybe later, Ellen replied, dragging her voice dramatically. She leaned her head on the windowsill and watched the raindrops go down the glass. Then she noticed something unusual. There was something orange under the big tree in their yard. Ellen squinted. Could she have seen something wrong? Could it be just a leaf blown by the wind? But then the orange thing moved. Mom, come quick! Ellen yelled. Her mom appeared and said, what is it, Ellen? There's something outside by the oak tree. Her mom gasped. Look, it's a kitten, and it looks scared. Ellen and her mom went for an umbrella and a blanket. Let's go help the kitten. Ellen slipped into her rain boots. She was a bit excited to get over staying indoors on the gloomy, rainy day. Outside, the rain pitter-pattered on the umbrella as Ella and her mom walked toward the tree. The kitten was right up against the trunk of the tree. Its tiny body was shivering and it was so wet. It looked at them with big, frightened eyes, and then it meowed faintly. It's okay, little one, Ellen said. She reached out to touch the kitten, but the kitten moved away. Let's try a blanket, her mom suggested. Ella gently draped the blanket over the kitten and scooped up the kitten in her arms. The kitten didn't resist this time. It was too tired. Mom, it's so cold, Ellen said. Well, we'll warm up the kitten inside, Mom said. So they brought the kitten into the house, and then they gave the kitten a dry fur to use as a soft blanket. They then gave the kitten a small bowl of warm milk. The kitten lapped it up eagerly, its tiny tongue licking quickly. I think it's hungry, Ella said, smiling for the first time that day. It must be lost, her mom said, sitting beside Ellen. Ella looked down at the kitten, now snuggled in her lap. Its orange fur was bright, though it was still damp. Can I keep the kitten, Mom, please? Her mom hesitated. Ellen, I know you'd love to keep this little kitten, but it might belong to someone nearby. We should try to find its owner first. Ellen's shoulders slumped. But what if no one claims it? We'll cross that bridge when we get there, her mother said. For now, we'll just take good care of the kitten. Ellen nodded, but deep in her heart, she hoped she would get the kitten to stay with them. That night, Ellen sat in her bed. She placed the kitten in a box right beside her bed. The kitten was now clean and dry, and the kitten looked very happy. I think I'm going to call you Pumpkin, Ellen said. Your fur is the same color as my favorite fall pumpkins. Pumpkin stretched and curled, its eyes slowly closing. Ellen watched it for a while. Before going to sleep, Ellen prayed and asked God to help them to find Pumpkin's owner. But if there was none, she would really love to keep it. The next morning, Ellen woke up early. She peeked into the box and found Pumpkin still asleep. Good morning, Pumpkin, she whispered. Her mom came into the room. Ellen, let's make posters to help find Pumpkin's owner. Together, they made some nice posters that said, Found, Orange Kitten. Call this number if it's yours. And then Ellen drew a picture of Pumpkin and put it on the poster. By mid-afternoon, they were walking through the neighborhood, putting up posters and asking neighbors if they knew whose the kitten was. But no one knew. Days went by and no one came for Pumpkin. Ellen was getting even more fond of Pumpkin. Pumpkin was following her around the house. Pumpkin was climbing in her lap. Pumpkin was so much fun to have. One day, Ellen and her mom went to walk in the park. Mom, do you think we'll ever find Pumpkin's owner? Mom said, I don't know. Sometimes things take time. But if we don't find the owner right away, we're going to give Pumpkin lots of care. Ellen smiled. I love Pumpkin so much. I don't want to let her go. Mom nodded. I know you love Pumpkin, but we always do what's right even when it's hard. We took care of Pumpkin because we knew it was the right thing to do. But if her real owner comes, we'll have to let her go. Ellen nodded. One day, Ellen was playing with Pumpkin in the front yard. A boy around Ellen's age came up the driveway. He had messy brown hair and was holding a crumpled piece of paper in his hand. Excuse me, he called out. I'm looking for a kitten. It's orange with stripes. Is this my kitten? Ellen's heart skipped a beat. She stood up slowly. She looked at Pumpkin. I think this is Pumpkin, she said. Is it your kitten? The boy's face lit up. Yes, I've looked for her everywhere. She ran off and I was so scared I wouldn't find her ever again. Ellen smiled, but she felt sad. I'm glad you found her, she said. We took good care of her. She's been safe and we really love her. Thank you so much for looking after her, the boy said. I can't tell you how much this means to me. I was so worried. Ellen's mother stood forward. Ellen, I think you've done a very kind thing by taking care of Pumpkin. And even though the owner has come, you still did a wonderful thing. The boy smiled at Ellen and said, "Thank you so much." That evening, Ellen sat in her room. She missed Pumpkin, but there was something special still inside her heart. "Ellen," her mom said gently, "I know today wasn't easy for you, but you did something very special. You showed kindness. Not because you knew it was easy, but because you knew it was the right thing to do." Ellen nodded. "I didn't want to give Pumpkin back, but I knew it was the right thing to do." "That's right," Mom said. And that reminds me of a Bible verse. Luke 6 verse 31 says, "Do to others as you would have them do to you." If you had lost Pumpkin, you would have been happy if someone found Pumpkin and took care of her and then gave it back to you. "That's right," Ellen said. "I did what I would want others to do to me." As the rain started falling, Ellen said a quiet prayer. "Dear God, thank you for helping me to be kind to Pumpkin and her owner. Thank you for teaching me that love means doing the right thing even when it's hard." And with that, Ellen went into her bed and went to sleep. Let us remember that we too should do to others as we would want them to do to us. Good night. Sleep tight.